Hey everybody, Jeff here, and had a few thoughts I wanted to share. I want to talk about COVID, pandemic, and safety, but really that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about loving each other. We're about almost a year into this pandemic, and we've really purposely at the church never made any sort of policy about social distancing, masks. Should you wear a hazmat suit to activities? I don't know. I have my own feelings and thoughts on all of it, but have never felt like it was my job or responsibility to police any of that. So we're smart people, we're free people, we make our own decisions. But I wanted to just share, I wanted to share kind of an inside perspective I've noticed, and it really has nothing to do with safety and masks, and that sort of thing. It has nothing to do with fear and faith. It just has to do with love. And I just, what I've noticed is in the general culture and in our church as well, you've got folks that are trying to be very careful, taking precautions, not attending services, if they are, leaving quickly, staying away from everybody, wearing the hazmat suit, whatever. And then you've got other folks that, are just very nonchalant about all of it. And I really think whatever your perspective is fine. That's, that's between me and the Lord, how I feel and act. So we're not to ever judge each other. But what I have noticed is that I feel like this is becoming more and more an issue of love. And I'll give you a few examples. What I've noticed is that folks who've been vaccinated or have had the COVID virus seem to be much less careful. I've heard many comments like, well, I've had it, so I'm not scared of it. Or I've had it, it wasn't that bad. I've heard many people say, oh, I'm not scared of that. But the thing is, when you have a group of people in a church or in a family or in an office or in a business or whatever, you've always got people that have reasons to perhaps be cautious or scared. You have people that live with elderly relatives, for example, or take care of them. And it's been proven, I know people who've passed away from COVID because they were older and they had all the risk factors because they were older, they were fragile, susceptible. And I know stories of people that have had meetings, been very careless, contracted the virus. For them, it was just a cough. But 2 weeks later, their aunt or grandmother passed away from COVID, and they contracted it from possibly that person. And so I've always been very careful for that reason. I'm in contact with hundreds and hundreds of people, some of them elderly, and I take care of my mother. A lot of folks in the church know that, a lot don't, but I'm with her every 2 to 3 days. She currently is not walking, and she's having a pretty serious surgery in a few weeks, but if she, age 75, were to get COVID, it likely would not be good. So for that reason, I'm very careful. And I'm a mild example. Many of you have lost relatives to COVID. You've gone through just the tragedy and loss of that. So that makes this very personal for you. Others of us have not. We've just read stories, but we may not think it's real serious. I just want to implore you, this is a love issue, and to be in any way insensitive or undermine anybody who is trying to take precautions for those reasons, it's really a lack of love. And I'm seeing it more and more, and it's beginning to concern me. Again, not because should I wear a mask or not, should I wash my hands or not. By the way, wash your hands, even if there's no pandemic. But it's not an issue of those things. It's really an issue of caring about other people. And it's very insensitive to say things like, oh, I'm not scared of that. Oh, I had it. It's no big deal. Well, you had it, but what if you have it and don't know it, don't have symptoms? Give it to Sally. Sally goes and she's changing her uncle's bed sheets, gives it to him, and he dies. Is that on Sally? Is that on you or me? It's something to think about. And even if we don't do anything about it, I want to encourage us that our language, our demeanor, really speaks a lot to people who we may not understand. You know, that old Indian proverb, it says, I won't judge my brother until I've walked a mile in his moccasins. So I want to just encourage us, as you know, I don't know that this is a test of things as much as it's just a test of our love for each other. And I'm not even talking about church, I'm talking about neighbors, family, society, the way that you and I look at things and then make judgments or assessments of somebody, their level of faith, their level of fear. You know, we got to really be careful, guys, about that. Love your brother. Lay down your life for your brother. Prefer your brother. Philippians 2, consider your brother's interests as more important than yourselves. And conduct yourselves that way and talk that way. So yeah, I wanted to throw this out as I think about moving on in the church and just, you know, there's people not coming to church because they're scared for these reasons. And you know what? That's completely okay. Let's all think of one another and try to honor and serve and prefer one another in this way. And I think that'll be a great testimony of the proof and the truth and the trueness of our love in this church and in our faith. Hey, bless you. Hope this is encouraging to you. Talk to you on the next video. Stay safe.